is Manpreet. Welcome back to my channel. You're watching Career Talks with Manpreet. So today I invite on my channel Mr. Rahul Reddy from SRH University, Berlin. So without wasting any more time, let him allow to introduce himself first. Yeah, please, Rahul.
Thanks for the opportunity, Manpreet. My name is Rahul Reddy. I head the operations for SRH Berlin for Berlin, Dresden, and Hamburg campuses for India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal market. And I'm based out of Bangalore, India. So, yeah.
Thank you for your valuable time, Rahul, first of all. And yeah, actually, we are specialized for public universities. I guess you also know that. And before I invite any private university on my channel, so I always start my session with the same query. I'm going to ask you that why my students choose private universities. So according to your experience, so let me know that why my students choose private universities, because they prefer Germany only because of public universities. So
Right.
if anyone going to choose private universities, so according to your advice, what you explain this point, please?
I think this is a very, I'd say, very common point, especially with Germany, and it's a very logical point as well, right? But I would give you a very simple example to this, right? So in India, we have public and private universities, right? The majority of Indian students opt to do private program, will study in a private university in India, not in a public college, right? But when it comes to Germany, they opt for the other ways, right? The structure is pretty much similar. What I want to say here is that there are some top tier public colleges in Germany, right? Let's say TU Munich or TU Berlin. These are one of the top institutions, similar to an IIT in India, which is again a public institution, right? But at the same time, not every government college in India is equivalent to an IIT, right? So very similar to that, not every public university in Germany, even though it's free, is equivalent to TU Munich or TU Berlin, right? Whereas there are really good private institutions whose quality of education is up to the standards of these top public institutions, and they are located in the top cities, right, with a great job potential, right? And that's the reason that instead of studying in a public college, which is not the top tier in Germany, in a random location, it makes no sense. It makes more sense to study in a private institution, which is in the right location. And also very similar to the Indian market, if you study in a private college, right, you have assistants in your classroom much better than a public institution, right? I think you deal with public institutions, so you would know that they don't have lecture classrooms, right? It's always seminar halls in public institutions, even the top tier ones. So you will have around 300.
One professor.
Yeah, the smallest class in TU Munich is of 300 students. Right, that's the class strength, right? And the highest is around 1,400. So there's a good chance that your professor won't even know you till the end, right? But whereas when you come to private institutions, it's smaller classrooms, somewhere between 35 to 45 students on class, right? It's more on one-to-one approach, right? Apart from that, again, private institutions help you in the aspect of internship search, in the aspect of your final job search, right? So it makes more value add. I know there is some money involved in private, whereas public is free. But again, that there is a reason why that money is involved, right? You get something extra along with it.
But still, if we talk about the engineering profiles, so Italy is at the top point. If we check that
Right.
For the engineering profiles, Germany we count at the topmost country. And
Right.
also the public universities give the proper practical experience, laboratories, infrastructure for the students. But still, students are attracted from public and private both. So, okay,
Right.
why students choose SRH University?
Well, I would say, first of all, SRH itself is a known brand, and it's not just any private institution, right? It's a well-known brand over there, right? Which helps. Second thing is that SRH, even though a private institution, it's a part of a non-profit foundation. So it's not a for-profit private institution, right? It's not there only for the students' money aspect of it. But these are the basic terms. The general term why students choose SRH is the quality of program, what is provided on campus, right? The off-campus support in the term of, let's say, job search, let's say internship search, and the practical approach, right? If you see any institution in Germany, right, all the public institutions are state accredited, whereas all the private institutions are self-accredited, right? Or very similar to the Indian structure, either AACT approved or deemed, right? Whereas when you look into SRH is a private non-profit foundation institution, but is state accredited, which is not true for many of the other private institutions. So the quality of degree you get in SRH is equivalent to any public institution in Germany, right? But at the same time, the support you get is equivalent to any best private institution. So SRH gives you best of both worlds.
Okay, and courses offered by SRH?
So courses in the sense, we have certain departments in total. So we have management programs, right? So we have bachelor's and master's program in all of these. So we have management programs. We have programs into engineering and technology, where we consider the basic core engineering programs and also the computer science programs, right? Then we have a creative department, right? So we have creative arts. We also have design. So in technicality, in very simple terms, I can say that apart from medicine, that's becoming a doctor, or fashion, I think SRH covers all the other aspects.
Correct. SRH is a combination of engineering and management business all courses.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, how you differentiate these engineering courses of SRH if we compare these courses with public universities?
Right. So if you look into most of the curriculum of any public university, right, any state accredited public university that way, their programs are more on a single tone. What I mean by that is that you will get a master's in, let's say, data science, right? Or you will get a master's in automation, right? It's very single followed programs, right? Even the German public universities are very innovative themselves, but still on the tone of it. But when you look into SRH program, the SRH English taught programs are divided into two segments, right? We have the engineering program specifically. So we have a program called Engineering and International Business, right? This particular structure of program motivates students who are from engineering background, who want to understand engineering, right? But also want to get into the business side of it, which is a very common sight in India, right? Students do engineering and then do MBA, right? Whereas this is not an MBA, but this is a combination of engineering and how management is involved into engineering, which is a great combination. I don't think there are any public universities which are offering this structure, right? Similarly, for the next set of programs in engineering, we have engineering and sustainable management, right? And we have specialization into smart building technology for our architecture and civil students. We have programs into 3D manufacturing and robotics for students from electronics and the core branch. And we have programs into mobility and automotive, which is again for students from mechanical and automotive departments, right? So very specific to the needs of the student.
So like in public universities, it's very tough to switch the courses. If your background in the background courses, you're allowed to enter in only the masters related to your background bachelor's. But I guess in private universities, there is an option to switch courses, switch subjects, right?
It's again yes and no for both of it, right? So the yes is that obviously the students can offer an option to move to the different stream if they want to, right? But again, the no is that if either a student, if let's say we have a student who has done computer science engineering in India, right, and wants to apply for an HR management program, right? Obviously, it's not matching with his profile, right? So it's a no if he directly applies. At the same time, if the student completed his engineering and did a work job for a year, something to do with HR, right? Then yes, he can get into it. So we ask, so most of the public universities ask for your undergrad to exactly match with the postgrad you're looking for. Whereas SRH gives you flexibility that either your undergrad or your experience matches with the program that you're looking for.
Okay. That means if anyone plans to enter in master's courses of SRH, then experience is mandatory or freshers are also eligible?
For the master's program, non-experienced people can apply, right? They can come in. It's the only thing is that if you're trying to switch the field, what you're done,
experience is mandatory.
Then your experience is mandatory.
Otherwise, freshers are also eligible.
Then they are eligible, yes.
So I guess there are two intakes.
Yeah. So we have two intakes. We have an April intake and an October intake every year.
Okay. And how many campus?
We have three campuses. We have a campus in Berlin, we have a campus in Hamburg, and we have a campus in Dresden. In reality, just in Berlin, we have three campuses. The first campus is called the Science and Management, the Technology and Management campus. Then we have a Creative Arts campus, and we have a Design campus. So we have three campuses in Berlin, one in Hamburg and one in Dresden.
Okay. And okay, what's the students like class strength and your lecture times?
Or the classroom strength would be ranging between 35 to 40 students in any lecture. That's the maximum it could go. That's the advantage of a private university, right? So that's how it goes. As per the lecture timings, obviously it's not going to be in the structure of 9 to 4 or something, right? So on an average, most of our lectures happen between 10 to 4, right? And it's not necessary that all your lectures will be in one row, right? You might have 3 hours of classroom in one day and 6 hours of classrooms in the other day. It's completely based on your curriculum, and this schedule is shared with the student much in advance so that they can utilize it accordingly.
Great. Okay, and the most demanding course of SRH?
I think the moment you talk about Germany, automotive comes right as a default, right? So we have an engineering program in mobility and automation, right? And that's, I would say, the top program where we have a lot of students join in. I would say we just opened our applications for our October intake recently, around in January. We already have a cap of filling only these many students from any particular nationality, right? We have reached 30% of Indian student cap already, right? And we are, I think, 5-6 months away from the program already. So that's how the program is moving. Similarly, we have programs into data science in the computer science side of it. And as you know, data science and big data are the buzzwords today. So these are programs which are really fast filling. And the last would be our MBA program in executive general management, which is a 1-year program specifically for people who have more than 5 years of experience, right? So that is a program where we get a good number of students really quick. So these are the top programs there.
The students are attractive for a 2 years master's program, or you're also getting admissions for 1-year master's?
So our programs are divided into multiple sectors. Like, for example, we have bachelor's, we have master's, and we have MBA, right? So masters are between 1.5 and 2-year programs, right? So masters are technically for people who don't have experience and freshers who want to join in, right? So masters are always between 1.5 and 2-year programs. The MBA is between 1.5 and 1-year program. Right. So MBA for experience.
Also interested for 1-year MBA?
There are. So the thing is, like, for the 1-year MBA, the experience minimum we ask for is 5 years, right? Whereas the average students who are on class, the average experience what they have is around 8 years. So we have much more experienced candidates coming for them, and I don't think they want to study for 2 more years, right? They want to just do a 1-year program and get over with it, right? So yeah.
Correct. Either paying for 2 years, it's good if we start earning from the second year.
Makes more sense, right?
Yeah. Okay, and you also, this SRH also have a healthcare management course.
Right.
So is there any this university helps in a job department in this specialization?
Right. So the career cell in structure, right, for SRH, it's not just for healthcare. We definitely help with healthcare as well. But if you look into all our master's programs, when we say it's a 1.5-year program or a 2-year program, the 6 months in that is just internship, right? And we help the student, the career service team completely helps the student with the internship part of it, right? So during the program, we help the student with the internship. After the program, we help them with the jobs. So it's not just for the healthcare management program, it's for all the programs. And that's an advantage of studying in a private institution, right?
That's great. So that means all the students who are studying SRH, they get the assistance for internships also.
Yes.
And these internships are not paid or paid sometimes?
I would say 95% of the internships are paid, because most of the students don't ask for an unpaid internship. But at the same time, let's say if there's a student in Hamburg and if he gets an internship in Facebook, the European headquarters of Facebook is in Hamburg, right? So if he gets it there, then there's a high chance that if they don't pay, still the student is ready to take it, right? So, but normally most of the students who do internships are paid internships. It's not free.
And these internships like in the last semester?
Yeah, so all the internships are towards the last semester for the masters, right? So it ranges between 6 months. There are some students who try to take up more internships during their second last sem also. That's something up to them if they want to. But taking up the internship in the last semester is a part of the program.
Okay, and is there any scholarships SRH provide? And what's the fee
So,
structure of all courses, roughly idea my students want to know?
so most of our master's program, the 1.5 and 2 year master's program, would cost you around 10,000 to 12,000 euros per year, right? That's the average cost. For the MBA program, it's going to be ranging between 13,000 to 15,000 euros for the 1.5 and 1 year MBA, right? That being said, for scholarships, SRH provides a merit-based scholarship up to 50% on the student's first year fees, right? And this scholarship is going to be completely based on the student's academics, the student's performance in the interview for the program he's applied, and also the motivation of the student. So what we mean by the motivation is that how relevant the student's past is to the program what he's getting in.
So, like how much percentage student needs if they want to apply for scholarship?
So for the minimum eligibility for most of our tech programs, engineering and tech program is 60%, right? And for our management program is 55%. So if a student wants to get into scholarship range, they should have 65% and above to look out for. Only then they are eligible to apply for it. The higher the academics, the better the range of getting a higher scholarship out of it.
Okay, and let's talk about other services like for accommodation, visa extension, city registration. So how students manage if they apply for like SRH?
Now, we don't have in-house accommodation hostel facilities in our campus because all of them are right at the central business district, and financially doesn't make sense to have a hostel right over there. But we do have third-party accommodation services which we provide to our students at day one. From the time they register with that, they can choose across all these options which we provide and choose among them. Right, that is for the accommodation part of it. For the registration, the international registration, which has to be done within 3 months, our student service team starts working with the student from the day they arrive on campus, and we try to finish this process in 2 months, so that we don't want to delay a student's process till 3 months. But yeah, the maximum is 3 months, but we rarely have any student go to that 3 months time.
Because it's like the first time when students plan to move Germany. And okay, if we talk about like masters, they are little bit experienced with the help of bachelor degree, and also sometimes they're experienced from market. But if we talk about 12 students, they are not aware with the even college, not even aware with the market. So parents are also disturbed that how will they manage after reaching Germany. So it feels like good when there is someone to support them. Okay, you will get every assistance from the university.
Yeah, so the whole aspect of having student services team in each campus, that includes the 3 campuses of Berlin or the Hamburg campus or the Dresden campus, we have a student service team dedicated over there in that campus, right? So I would suggest any student coming to SRH, if there is anything you need to have a doubt about, it's not just about the bigger things like registration and all these things, right? Even a small thing, they are your first point of contact, and it's their core job to help you. And we do understand it's not just, so SRH boasts of students coming from 113 nationalities. So it's not just the Indian students blending in, it's everyone blending at the same time, right? So that's the whole aspect of the student service team to help them with the basic to basic things.
Okay. So I guess I'm done with my all points, queries. And at the last, I want to know that what's the specialty of SRH?
I would say the speciality of SRH would be we are very quick to respond, right? Which is not true for many of the public institutions, right? So we are not just in the basic aspect of the admission and the application, but it is also for the process of the further things as well. That when the student comes on campus, when the student applies for a program, when the student has any doubts or anything, across all the departments, we are much more quicker to respond. It's very similar to what a private university would do in India, right? We want to serve the students much better because we get paid for it, right? Public universities doesn't, but we do.
And students also easily get part-time jobs there?
I would say, I will just be real here, right? So if you say you get part-time jobs, you do get, right? But I would say if a student going to even an English taught program to Germany, right? Learning a bit of German as a language, not to a B1 or a B2 level, but at least to speak basic level, that would help you get a better, let's say, part-time jobs. Because again, when you go to a different country, it's very simple that the minimum they ask to you is to just know the basic of their language. But regardless of this, our two campuses, that's Berlin and Hamburg. These are one of the biggest cosmopolitan cities, not just in Germany, but in Europe. So they are very famous tourist destinations. So there are a lot of English speaking part-times available. But still, I would always, through you and through your channel, I want to tell that if you are planned to go to Germany, at least learn a bit. And Duolingo and all these platforms have made it really easy to get it through, right? So yeah.
At least, actually, students take very light. Okay, after reaching Germany, we can plan how if there is a need of German, like then we can start at that time. But we always suggest that if you plan to move Germany, start the language from the day you are planning to move to Germany.
Exactly. And I would say it's so in India, if you go to every other part of India, right? Or if you go to Tamil Nadu, right? I'm not putting it in a bad light, but in reality, if you go to Tamil Nadu, with Hindi, you can survive in every other place, right? The moment you go to Tamil Nadu, even though there are people who know Hindi, but would make sure that you speak in Tamil or in English, right? Germany is that part of Europe. So Germans are very close to their language, their culture, and they are very proud that they are one of the biggest economies in the world and the strongest in Europe, right? So they want to feel that if you're coming to my country, at least learn my language, right? Which I feel is not a wrong thing to ask, right? And I think it's not a really tough thing for our students to learn, right? So when you told students take it lightly, every student who has taken lightly initially then goes and struggles in Germany and then learns the language. So I would say instead of struggling and learning, you can start the process much easily here, right?
Okay, then thank you. Thank you so much. You gave my all queries answers very well. And in future, if I collect more queries regarding SRH, then I invite you again on my channel.
Perfect. It was a pleasure talking to you and glad being in touch with you through Career Talks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.